Championship leader Lucas Di Grassi for the Audi Sport app team. He crashed in qualifying, so 5th was the best that he could do. 6th on the grid, Jean-Eric Vergne. He was the pole man last time out in Uruguay, but for Andretti he is 6th here today. 7th on the grid, Nico Prost, his worst qualifying performance of the season so far, and he is followed on the grid in 8th place by Antonio Felix da Costa, who has put in the best qualifying performance for him and the best qualifying performance for Amlin. They really seem to have found something with that car, and that is the blue car you can see behind that Andretti car there of Jean-Eric Vergne. So it'll be Vergne starting in 6th place on the grid, but he is another man that has won the fan boost. There then is Antonio Felix da Costa, a really strong performance from the Portuguese racer to be only half a second off pole position. 9th on the grid, Nelson Piquet Jr. He was 2nd last time out in Uruguay, so a bit of a disappointment for the Brazilian. Completing the top 10, the Mahindra back there of Karun Chandok in the red and white car. The mechanics just leaving it now as they get ready to head off back to the pit lane. And then it's Stefan Sarrazin on the left-hand side. There is Karun Chandok on the right there, just putting his gloves on. Stefan Sarrazin on the left in the Venturi car. The car's just a little bit out of alignment where they're lined up on the grid, so it is actually the right-hand side that is further forward, because then we've got Daniel Abt in 12th position. Another difficult qualifying for the German Oriol Servia here on the left-hand side. 13th place on the grid for him, and that is his worst qualifying performance of the season so far. Dragons seem to be struggling a little bit. Marco Andretti making his Formula E debut is there, 14th on the grid in the white and blue Andretti Machine, racing for his dad this weekend. 15th on the grid, Ho Pin Tung. He's qualified 15th in every single race that he has entered so far this season. 16th on the grid is Salvador Duran, the Mexican. And then we've got Michele Cerruti in 17th on the grid. 18th for Jerome D'Ambrosio, but he doesn't look like he's made the grid. So Bruno Senna in 19th place, and Jarno Trulli completing the 20 cars as they make their way down towards the grid.
At this point, you're trying to get any heat you can in those brakes, those carbon brakes. They require temperature to get to work at all. And these guys are trying to get any temperature they can in them, because otherwise they're going to go down to turn 1, press the brakes, nothing's going to happen, and then it's all going to stop very, very quickly, and you're going to lock all 4 tyres up. So get ready for some fireworks here in turn 1.
So the cars lining up. The left-hand side, pole position, that is Sebastian Buemi, the man who's 2nd in the championship at the moment, but he won the last race in Uruguay. Alongside him on the front row in the silver and purple car is Jaime Alguersuari. 3rd on the grid is Nick Heidfeld, who is just to the right of this shot here, because we're on board with Sam Bird, who is in 4th place. The crowd are on their feet in the background as we get ready for the start of the 4th round of the championship. Nick Heidfeld there in 3rd place in the black and red Venturi car on the left-hand side as we get ready for the lights to go out. Jaime Alguersuari starting 2nd. Can he get the advantage going down the inside? The first corner is a hairpin left-hander. That's the view on board from Nelson Piquet's nose cam. We've got the green flag raised then from the back of the field. 35 laps of racing are going to get underway. We've got all the lights on. And we go green in Buenos Aires. It's a lot of wheel spin for Buemi, but he manages to keep it all together. Good start as well from Heidfeld on the run down towards the first corner. He might get past Alguersuari. It's a hairpin left-hander that they're coming up to. Heidfeld looks to the outside line, gets a little bit of a tap, but gets up into 2nd place. Great move from Nick Heidfeld around the outside of the first corner. The leaves are all kicked up, but we're all safely through turn 1. Now the right-hand kink at 2 before the long sweeping left-hander at turn 3. But a great start from Nick Heidfeld has seen him move up into 2nd position. We're on board now with, and it's all going off down into turn 4. And look up the inside from Antonio Felix da Costa. Did he make it through there okay? He did just about. Side by side with Jean-Eric Vergne. Vergne up the inside of da Costa, holds on to that place. But we're all safely through the first couple of corners, Dario. But Heidfeld did a great job to get around the outside into 2nd place.
Absolutely stunning move by Heidfeld there, but he was hanging on. It's so dirty on the outside. You're seeing the guys running double wide there, and some great racing in the early corners here.
So that's down into turn 7. Then we come into the chicane at 8 and 9, and this is the end of the lap then. And when the next lap will start, there's a little bit of a gap back from Jean-Eric Vergne to the guys in front of him as they all stream across the line. And now up into the left-hander. And this is the quick part of the circuit, 10, 11 and 12. Listen to this. Look at them, they've all got their back end stepping out, but it's Buemi leading the way. Heidfeld's in second place, Alguersuari's in third, it's fourth for Sam Bird. There's a little bit of a timing glitch, so some of the graphics aren't showing correctly, but it is definitely Sebastian Buemi who's in the lead of the race at the moment. 0.8 of a second clear of Nick Heidfeld. And Heidfeld now is in, oh, and that's a shame. Who's that? Michaela Ceruti, who's come into the pits, and it looks like she's picked up a bit of damage, possibly after contact with Bruno Senna, because the left rear of Senna's car seems to have taken a bit of a clout. So, end of lap 1, Buemi, Heidfeld, Alguersuari, Bird, de Grassi, the top 5. There's the order on the left-hand side of the screen. And Nick Heidfeld now is in second position. He's got the fan boost, which will give him an extra 30 brake horsepower if he wants to use it. He's looking in a strong position.
Heidfeld very strong, absolutely. Made a nice move there in that first lap.
And here's de Grassi going past Sam Bird. That's nice. A move for 4th place down at turn 7.
You know, they're not taking it very easy early. I thought they'd be kind of just taking it steady for the first couple of laps here once they got through turn 1, but not a bit of it.
So this is the end of the second lap of the race. There's only 1 minute and 9 seconds this lap, so it goes past very quickly. Heidfeld's deploying his fan boost up at the front of the race. Is he able to get past Sebastian Buemi as they come down towards turn 1? We'll have to wait and see. No, he's not quite close enough, but he deployed his fan boost. That's the one time he's going to be able to use it in this car. So now he's got to wait until he's in his second car before he gets to use it again.
Let's see if he can get close enough here up to turn 4 to make a move.
We saw him attack an Edam's car in Beijing, and it all ended pretty horribly. We're on board with Nick Heidfeld now, down into turn 4.
Looks like he's running a bit more downforce than the car in front there. That will hinder him just a little bit in the straight line, but will help him in the braking zones.
That's an interesting decision, because most of the time we've seen the cars, oh, Alguersuari's all out of shape in 3rd place. He could be under a lot of pressure from Lucas de Grassi pretty soon. Really struggled to get the car into the apex of the hairpin at turn 5, and that has allowed Lucas de Grassi to get right under the rear wing of the Virgin car in front. But Heidfeld's impressive here because he's sticking with Buemi, even though he was nowhere in free practice this morning. Pulled a blinder in qualifying, but does seem to have the race pace after 3 laps of racing.
Yeah, Heidfeld in the black Venturi car has done a very good job. He gets very, very close to the wall in the chicane there, which is a little worrying. I love this shot. They're just pitching the car sideways, and that is flat out. At the 150 kilowatts, they're flat through there. Great shot.
And that is superb. It looks as though Marco Andretti's under a bit of pressure from Salvador Duran behind him.
Lap 3.
And that was some team radio being told that he's on lap 3. And here comes Marco Andretti, about to be passed by Salvador Duran down into turn number 1. They've got the back marker, Michaela Ceruti up in front. That could get a bit close, and Bruno Senna could take advantage. He's going to try and go around the outside of 2, then flashing into the long left-hander at 3. Senna did manage to go around the outside then of Marco Andretti. Good move from Senna, but all of that means that the winner is Salvador Duran up into 14th place.
Nice opportunistic pass there by Senna. I thought he was going to get both of them. Salvador was very aggressive, wasn't he?
Absolutely, and I think Jarno Trulli has just aggressively made his way past Ho Pin Tung, and he's now up into 17th place. There's Michaela Ceruti just backing off and letting everyone else go through, which is good to see, because she is now a back marker, unfortunately, after that first lap contact. Across we go. We're already on lap 5. This is rapid, but still, it's Sebastian Buemi leading. 0.8 of a second clear of Nick Heidfeld up at the front. Alguersuari, de Grassi and Bird completing the top 5 as they come across the start line, down towards turn 1 once again. And we haven't seen too much drama in that first corner. This is where we're expecting to see mistakes and lockups, but so far everyone's been well behaved. Through they come, the left-hander.
I'm not even sure I saw a lockup.
No.
In practice this morning, everybody was smoking the tyres down there. I haven't even seen a lockup yet, but maybe they're figuring out, oh, we're hearing something from the fans. Yeah,
they're certainly enjoying it. That's one of the strange things about Formula E, isn't it? That you can hear the fans cheering and screaming and oohing and ahhing. It's really quite strange to hear almost. And look how close de Grassi is to Jaime Alguersuari.
I think that Buemi is just managing the gap here. I've got a suspicion he's that much in control. He's just managing that gap. But Heidfeld can't take advantage of it. He's just the type of driver that will wait for a small mistake, and he'll take absolute advantage. Watch what happens here.
In they come through the chicane to complete the 5th lap of the race. 30 laps to go.
De Grassi has got to get up there onto the podium today again. If he wants to challenge for this championship, he's going to have to take the fight to Buemi, because Buemi's momentum has been building these last races with the win in Uruguay, and it's only getting better.
Absolutely. Less than half a second between the 1st and 2nd place men, Buemi and Heidfeld. And they come into the hairpin at turn 1. You can hear them screeching. But let's have a little look back at the start of this race as it all starts to calm down on lap 6. So it looked to me as though Buemi got quite a big amount of wheel spin off the start. I mean, he got away with it though, but Heidfeld was the man to watch, smooth as you like, and then around the outside at turn 1 was really impressive, Dario.
It just watched, I mean, the reaction time of all the drivers was very similar. And watch Nick, he's already lining the pass up, and he almost runs into the back of Buemi because he has to carry so much speed. And the car's just sliding. He's on one long slide all the way through there on the inside for turn 2. And that was impressive. You don't realise how dirty it is on that part of the track.
And here's the look, and here's an attack for the lead. Nick Heidfeld trying to get past Sebastian Buemi. Not quite close enough on the run down into turn 7, but very, very close between the two of them. They bounce over the chicanes and come across the line to start the 7th lap of the race. And Alguersuari is still running there in 3rd place, but these guys are all nose to tail.
I'd love to see with the power left, the usable power left that each driver's got, to see if Nick's using more to stay with him. As if by magic.
It's almost like someone's listening to you.
Very, very close. Look, 65 against 64, and Nick's used the fan boost, so you got to say Nick's in good shape right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to play the long game. It's not a long race, about 45 minutes to an hour, but they have got to be sensible about it. Nico Prost is up into 8th place now, after starting in 7th, so he's dropped a few places at the start, but now he's got back in clear air and he's just at the fastest lap of anyone to close in on Antonio Felix da Costa in front of him. But Jaime Alguersuari is the man under real pressure from Lucas Di Grassi behind, and here comes Di Grassi up the inside, forces his way through at the hairpin at turn 5, and he moves up into 3rd position. I was just about to say,
it looks like he's going to set up, right?
And it's like the hairpin at Monaco, isn't it, the Lowe's hairpin? If you put yourself on the inside, your rival's got no choice but to let you through.
Yeah, cracking move. You can see him setting up.
Antonio Felix da Costa side by side with Jean-Eric Verne, and da Costa gets through. Does he on the run down to the chicane? Yes, he does. So da Costa up into 6th position.
The thing we're seeing here, it's the same as Uruguay. When you lose one place, you're losing multiple because it is so close.
So Sebastian Buemi still leads, 0.6 of a second clear of Nick Heidfeld. Di Grassi's now up into 3rd position, and with some clear air, he's 2 seconds behind Nick Heidfeld in the battle for the lead of the race. But will he be able to close that in? Now he's got some clear air in front of him.
It might take him a couple of laps, but it's the sort of thing you've got to do bit by bit, not use too much of your usable power to make it happen. There's Senna there making a move on Salvador Duran.
Yep. And here's a look at the replay then, and this was it from Di Grassi. He wasn't even that close, but just did it under braking.
Textbook. Once he got to there, he could kind of use him up, push him wide a bit, and you saw absolutely great pass.
And he's just gone 0.6 of a second quicker than our race leaders in Sector 1. This was an opportunistic move from, I don't know quite what happened there, but suddenly Jean-Eric Verne was very wide on the way into the corner, and that allowed the door to be open for Da Costa.
I think Verne was just kind of following line of stern there. Da Costa thought, okay, you've backed off a little bit, I'll have some of that.
So the gap at the end of this lap is down to 0.9 of a second. Di Grassi took 1.1 seconds out of the race leaders on that last lap alone, so he has obviously decided to push here. Now, these guys can run between 130 kilowatts and 150 kilowatts in terms of their power, and so Di Grassi maybe has turned it up a bit to close in, and then we'll turn it down when he gets there. Who knows? Those are the things we just don't know, but we get to see the amount of usable power that they have used, and that can often give us a key to knowing how much power they're actually running. And Jean-Eric Verne has just done the fastest first sector of anyone, obviously a little bit riled. There he is in the blue and white Andretti car, a little bit wound up, but look at Di Grassi's right on the back of Heidfeld already. He's
made some cracking time up, and he's just, I think he's carrying so much momentum through the corners that it's just part of the trick of driving these Formula E cars quickly. And here he comes, he's doing exactly what he has to do here. He's got to take the fight to Buemi.
Out they come, down towards turn number 7. A little feint towards the inside line, but nothing too dramatic, just so Heidfeld knows he's there. And, I mean, how does that affect you? If you're Nick Heidfeld, you've got a 2-second margin. Next time you look in the mirrors, Di Grassi's there.
I don't care how experienced you are, you're going to be thinking about it. The trick is to always look at exiting the corner, look in your mirrors. That way you've got that advantage, you're pulling away just a little bit. But you've got to be careful not to drive in your mirrors too much, but you've got to be thinking about defending that position too.
Lap 10 of 35 here in Buenos Aires, the Argentinian ePrix. and they're coming around turn number 1 on lap 10. Sebastian Buemi leading from pole position. We've still got pit stops to come as well, don't forget, and you can see the usable power remaining down there at the bottom of the screen. That's the percentage of their battery that they've still got left to use.
De Grassi's use about 3% more than Buemi. Is that going to catch him out later in the race? We'll soon find out.
Absolutely, and we haven't had a safety car yet either, and Lucas de Grassi, as we saw there, set the fastest lap of the race on that charge that he closed in a second, just over a second in on Nick Heidfeld up in front of him.
They need to be careful because the statistics will show you that there has been a safety car in every race, so they're going to say, oh, there's a good chance of having one, and the drivers might take it as given there's going to be one and do their strategy that way. If there's not, there's going to be a lot of people trying to make some energy out of fresh air coming into this here race.
We're on to lap 11 of this 35-lap race. I could watch this camera angle all day.
Brilliant. Look at the accuracy of the drivers, inch perfect there.
Absolutely. Across the line they come, and down towards the first corner, which is actually the 4th corner on the track because of the layout of this Buenos Aires ePrix circuit. And wow, that's Sam Bird swinging the back end out as he comes through that corner. He's in 5th place at the moment, tucked up behind his teammate Jaime Alguersuari, the 2 Virgin racers. But it's still Buemi leading the way, just managing that gap back to Nick Heidfeld. 0.6 of a second, the gap to 1st and 2nd. De Grassi has closed in rapidly, but he hasn't been able to make an attack on Nick Heidfeld just yet. The 2, in fact, Sam Bird looks to be quicker than Jaime Alguersuari at the moment. Those 2 Virgin cars are absolutely nose to tail coming down towards turn 7. But again, we've got brilliant battling throughout the order. We've only had 13 minutes of racing.
Look how close Nick Heidfeld gets to the wall every lap going into turn 8 there.
Yeah, absolute commitment, isn't it? It's superb to see the precision and commitment from these top-level single-seater racers. There's the exit of that 10, 11 and 12 sequence. And out onto what was the start straight, down towards the first corner again. And still, line astern, no one just making a move, but quite often we've seen that they'll save up their energy, be a bit chilled in the first part of the race, and then when they know the sort of relative situation of everyone, then start to go for it in the final laps.
Absolutely, but they were giving the engineers the figures of usable power left as they cross the start finish there, and the engineers will be then saying you've got this much to use. Oh, here's App making a move on Karun Chandok here. Oh, they'll lock up, but is Karun going to try the switch back? Absolutely.
Nice stuff from Karun Chandok there. That's them battling over 10th place in the final points-paying position at the moment. But Sebastian Buemi in the yellow and blue Edams car is still the man out in front. The black and red Venturi of Nick Heidfeld has closed right into the back of him again. He dropped back for a while, but now he is right back under the gearbox of the car in front, as we can see on board with Heidfeld.
Pretty exciting. You're coming down into 10, turn 10, setting up. Through 10, straight into 11 and 12. Look at this whole combination. The exit of 11 is the apex of 12.
How many laps to the pit stop?
Jean-Eric Verne there, I think.
Heidfeld.
Was that Heidfeld?
Oh, it was De Grassi, apparently. It was Lucas De Grassi's team radio. We'll get there in the end, but that's De Grassi asking how many laps to the pit stop. I don't think he's received an answer yet, but we'll wait and see. So 29% of battery usable power level remaining for Nick Heidfeld, and he's using the full 150 by the looks of it, maybe a smidgen less, but he is really close to the back of Sebastian Buemi.
This is a point where maybe experience counts a little bit, and you've got to you want to keep pushing the guy and keep racing him, but you've got to get to the end of the race. You've got to have enough usable power to do it. You can lift and coast. You hear the rear tyres just breaking traction there. You've got to lift and coast a bit. It's going to cost you some lap time. You might lose a couple of spots here, but towards the end of the race, when it counts, it'll put you in the catbird seat, as they say. I think that's an Americanism.
into the chicane they come across the line and start the 14th lap of the race. And they're still absolutely nose to tail. Brilliant stuff here in Formula E. No real attacks going on just yet, though. Lucas de Grassi, our championship leader, is 3rd in the race at the moment. Buemi is 2nd in the championship as it stands.
De Grassi's now 4% shy on usable power compared to Buemi.
Okay, so Buemi's obviously managing this very well because he's got the most amount of usable power of anyone in the top 8. So it really does look like he's just managing his gap, which is a very, very clever thing to do. And obviously the thing you really want to do. One man who's got quite a lot left is Nelson Piquet Jr. He's running in 9th place, but he's got something like, I think it was 36% of usable power remaining. Here comes Lucas di Grassi up the inside of Heidfeld, forces his way through and up in the second position.
Great opportunistic move again, the same move as he did before. The question is, can he do it to Buemi? I think Buemi might be a little harder nut to crack there and might not give way just as easily.
So down towards the left-hander they come at turn 7. Lucas di Grassi up into second place, forcing his apt car through, Dario.
Lovely, look, just alongside, doesn't even get all the way alongside, but the corner's his. Yep. Little wheel check there. He's put Nick Heidfeld offline. And
and Heidfeld's in trouble. Alguersuari's attacking him, and it looks as though Alguersuari's got through. I think Nick Heidfeld went wide at the chicane, and now Sam Bird is going to attack as well. So Nick Heidfeld falling back through the order. Sam Bird gets alongside in the Virgin car. The next corner is a hairpin left-hander, so that'll be Bird through too. Whoa, big lock-up on the front right. Can he get it stopped? To cost the season opportunity. Tries to force his way past Heidfeld. Isn't quite close enough.
Offside? No, not quite. Oh, not quite.
So that means that Alguersuari is up into 3rd place, Bird up into 4th, Heidfeld drops to 5th, De Costa in 6th place, but that all came from a mistake from Nick Heidfeld at the chicane.
I'd love to see a replay of that. Did Alguersuari pass him round the outside turn 10?
That would have been quite a manoeuvre.
That looked like, didn't it? But look, again, he's lost 2, almost 3 in the space of 1.
So this is where it started to go wrong on the back
rear.
end.
Yeah, over the humps here. Here comes Jaime Alguersuari.
And then this was the replay of Sam Bird following through. But I think you're right. I think Alguersuari got around the outside. Meanwhile, Lucas di Grassi is pushing like nothing else because he has closed the gap to Buemi to 0.8 of a second. And on that last lap was 7 tenths quicker than our race leader, Sebastian Buemi. So di Grassi is on a charge here. Here are our 2 race leaders. There's now a big gap back to the 2 Virgin cars of Alguersuari and Bird because of their scraps with Nick Heidfeld.
7 tenths that last lap.
Oh, Chandok's off. Karun Chandok looks to be out of the race. I think that's turn...
Is that the end of the
exit of the chicane? Yeah, I think that's the exit of the chicane. So that could be our first safety car potentially as well.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? That's a big shunt.
It looks as though the rear wing is off. Karun getting out of the car, which is good to see.
Left rear, right rear wing.
Yeah, so let's see what happened. Here he comes. Oh, is he going to lose it all by himself? He's just going to... Oh,
broke.
Yeah.
It broke.
Yeah, the right rear suspension broke on him and off he goes. And he was just a passenger.
Weakness with these cars. How many times do we see that in Punta del Este?
Yeah.
And there again, not a nice feeling when something breaks there. Thank God it wasn't turn 10.
Yeah, absolutely. But great to see that Karun is okay and climbing out of the car. There's Trevor Carlin, the man who is overseeing the Mahindra effort. Now we've got more battles, and this is Heidfeld getting back past Sam Bird as they come in. Into the pits comes Jaime Alguersuari. They're still chucking the cars around as they come through the chicane. Surely they'll have to bring out the safety car. Maybe that's what Alguersuari's gambling on, and that's why he's come into the pits. John-Eric Verne has done, as well as Nico Prost, Salvador Duran and Marco Andretti.
No,
so we'll have to wait and see.
Happens. Look at Buemi, 10%. He's got a little advantage there.
Into the pits come the cars then, and there's Jaime Alguersuari changing over to his second machine. But if the safety car is to come out now, Alguersuari is going to be in the box seat. Just to let you know, 70 seconds, 1 minute 10 seconds is the minimum pit stop time. We'll be able to tell you the minimum pit stop time when they come out of it. And if you are quicker than the safety car is deployed, this could be absolutely crucial for the deciding lead of the race.
Michele Ceruti, there's obviously, you can't pass, but you can go a little quicker maybe to catch up, and she's holding them up here. This is really tough for Buemi. This pit lane is it's got some interesting points to it.
And look, Buemi's furious.
Oh yeah.
Flat waving his hands, but I mean, they are under safety car conditions now.
Yeah, but you could do the difference between sort of 60 or 70 or 80 miles an hour. It makes quite a big difference, and he's just giving time away, all that advantage. The pit lane is blind for the guys at the start of pit lane as they come round, so it's quite... you got to be careful, keep your eyes...
Oh, here they all come into the pits.
Did you see that?
Yeah, oh sorry, out of the pits they go, and it looks as though they have all made it so far with the right times. Yes, so Alguersuari did a 1 minute 12 in the pits, so did Verne and Prost, but Prost is actually in front of Jean-Eric Verne.
Yeah.
But where is Jaime Alguersuari? He's going to be the man to watch out for. In they come into the pits. Oh, very busy down there, isn't it? But Jaime Alguersuari is the man to find. Into the pits comes Buemi, the race leader. But equally, they're going behind the safety car now, so they'll be going at a slower pace. This is going to be difficult to call who's going to come out in the lead of this one.
I would be very surprised right now if Buemi ends up leading this race. When all said and done, I just think he lost too much time. Not anything of his doing. The strategy was maybe not the best, but the lap car really messed them up.
So there's the Qualcomm safety car leading the way. Jean-Eric Vergne is at the head of the train at the moment. So Jean-Eric Vergne is potentially leading the race. It depends how quickly they come around to pit exit, and presumably, here they come, out they come.
Yeah, he might be all right.
And it's Sebastian Buemi out onto the circuit, but is he now out in front of the safety car and still in the lead of the race? That's the question, isn't it?
I think he is.
So it looks as though he's further up the track than the safety car, but is he in front or behind of the safety car train? Am I making sense?
Yeah, I know what you're saying there.
So we'll have to wait and see. Here's Buemi, and according to the standings, Buemi is in the lead of this race, because those guys had to wait behind the safety car, so they were lapping slower because they were queued up behind the safety car.
Wonder what speed the safety car was doing.
And these guys can't exit the pits because the safety car is coming down, so the lights are red at the end of the pit lane. So that means that Nelson Piquet Jr. and Bruno Senna, I don't think they'll go a lap down.
No, but they'll be at the back of the pack.
Yeah, but they'll be at the back of the pack. So
that's harsh.
There you can see.
Those are the rules, but it's just...
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, next time they come around the timing lines, we should get a clearer idea. It's Marco Andretti at the front of this queue at the moment, not Jean-Eric Vergne. Vergne's a little bit further back in it. So Marco Andretti, at best, could be leading the race. At worst, is going to be in about 6th or 7th position. We just need to wait and see. At the moment, the timing screens are saying Buemi, De Grassi et al. Are in the lead. And so it seems like that will be the case. Just need to wait for them to come across the line once more to sort of shake it all out, really, as Karun Chandok's car is hoisted away. Well, across the line comes Buemi, yes, so he's now just started his 19th lap of the race. The other guys are on their 18th lap. So Buemi still leads ahead of De Grassi, and Heidfeld and De Costa are our top 3. But now they've got to somehow amalgamate the race leaders with the safety car train. Which is easier said.
Good luck with that, absolutely. Car 2's under investigation, Sam Bird. I wonder what that's about. Probably pit stop time or something?
His pit stop time appeared to be 1:29, which was very slow. Here's a look at Chandok spinning again. The exit of the chicane. That's the way his race ended, unfortunately, after a difficult qualifying session and an even more difficult race. So that's his first retirement of the season so far.
That's an area they're going to have to fix, because when they go to the circuits of Long Beach and Miami, they'll be a bit rougher again. And we can't be having these type of failures. It's happened multiple times now, so the manufacturer really needs to sort that out, I would say.
There you can see the time in pits. Buemi, De Grassi, Heidfeld, De Costa all comfortably over the 1:10 minimum time. So it looked for a moment as though that gamble to come into the pits might pay off for those drivers that are now currently queued up behind the safety car, but it didn't quite work out that way in the end, as Oriol Servia comes into the pit lane. And in other news, just quickly to finish off, Jerome D'Ambrosio did, sorry, that's Jerome D'Ambrosio coming into the pits. He did start from the pit lane, and so was in the race, but has come into the pits a little bit later than everyone else. So it'll be interesting to see where he filters out again.
This is obviously helping everybody to be able to run a little more power towards the end, less lift and coast and all that kind of stuff. The battery temperature thing still could rear its head, but it looked like the guys run flat out for the whole battery life, the whole usable power of the first car. So I think we're going to have a pretty straightforward race on our hands here.
So Marco Andretti has just been released by the safety car.
That'll get his lap back.
And Marco Andretti is actually a lap down on these guys, so he's at the front of the queue, so he's a lap down. So actually,
he's now going to go at the tail end of the lap.
Exactly. So when I said at worst it'll be about 6th or 7th, I was entirely wrong.
I'm glad we're not doing strategy today.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I don't know why they have you on the pit wall in IndyCar. It was a bit...
Well, we've got engineers for that, to be honest, and the strategists, and I just, as I did when I was driving, I let them get on with it.
So The queue behind the safety car is a different one to the guys who are leading the race at the moment. And apologies if that all got a little bit confusing in the middle of the race there, but it was all a little bit confusing as to what exactly was going on, and the race directors have got some work to do to try and sort out the order of cars now. Sam Bird is under investigation, we believe, for potentially leaving the pits under the red light conditions. We saw a couple of the guys waiting to leave the pits, but apparently Sam Bird may have jumped before the lights went green, but we'll see what the stewards decide on that. We're on board with Sebastian Buemi then, who in theory is our race leader according to the timing screens and all that, but it's going to be a long way to filter all these guys through. Everyone else has got to surely pass the safety car, and then will we have to then wait for the pack to catch up with the safety car as well? But that would take too long.
No, it won't take long.
I guess it's only a minute lap.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it'll be fine. They'll do that in a lap or two under the safety car.
But they will have to. They will end up with a little bit less usable power, usable energy.
They will, but that's unfortunately the price you pay for being at the back of the pack. There.
you deserve it.
Yeah, it happens.
So 16 laps to go here. Here's a look at Sam Bird. Now, is this him exiting the pit lane under a red light? Where is the light situation? There it is.
Oh, yeah.
I think that might be a little bit of a done deal.
I think so. The light didn't look in the best position. If I was him, you know, I'd definitely be arguing that. But as drivers, you tend to complain, don't you? Here's Andretti.
So we've got Andretti's, Marco Andretti's
I was
team
coming
radio.
in whether you called me or not. I was right committed.
So that was Marco Andretti having a bit of a discussion with his team.
Well, his dad, essentially.
Yeah. Saying they seem to have disagreed about the pit stop time, or when he came into the pits. But we believe he needs to. He did go past the safety car, didn't he?
He's now on the tail end of the lead lap, I think.
Yeah, so that's fine. And there we go. So Jaime Alguersuari goes past the safety car. But now they all need to do it. All sort of. Yeah, so Alguersuari's gone through. So really, we need about 14 cars to go past the safety car.
Yep. He's thinking, okay, do I go?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Because all these guys, they're running at the front. So, but they're lapped cars. So they must be thinking, well, hang on, I was second, or you know, I was fifth. I'm not a lapped car. This can't be for me.
Yeah, it's something that in IndyCar happens quite a lot. You find yourself, if you're having an average day, you can't be on the tail end of the lead lap pretty quickly. And you get past the safety car, back on the lead lap, and at this point, if you have legitimately been a lap down, you're thinking, oh, you beauty, bonus.
Okay, so we need to go round and pick up the train of cars, because they need to get the leader behind the safety car. So you need to go round and pick up the train of cars.
This is clearly quite a new thing for a lot of these guys.
That's how.
What do you mean, I'm last or what?
Exactly.
Did you hear the surprise in his voice?
Yeah.
No, we're currently P6. We are P6.
So,
So
okay.
you mean yellow flag?
That's good to hear then that Alguersuari has been given the
Yeah, it's kind of
news.
contrary for the future. If there's something we can do, but I doubt it.
So the classification says we are currently P6. Yeah, no, there's nothing we can do on that. Because the leader is behind you, you are not pushed. This yellow push take a while. They don't have an idea who actually the leader is behind you. They almost wave around the whole field and there's different options than have a look.
No. So that is all the teams being told that the drivers have got to come through. Sebastian Buemi is now behind the safety car. They'll all leg it round, get up to the back of the pack in the next, I don't know, lap or two maybe. Then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, we'll be ready to go. We'll know where everybody is. But this is this catch-22 of how hard do you chase to catch. Obviously, if they're going to go green the next time by, then you have to chase pretty hard and use up usable power. If not, you take as long as possible, use as little power as possible. But these guys are all building brake temperature and tyre temperature too, which could be an advantage come the restart.
And how they'll need to manage how crucial usable energy actually is, because if we've had quite a long safety car period, it might be the case that they can go flat out now, you know, for the remaining 14 laps, because they haven't done a single lap on race pace at the moment. And you can see Buemi's got 90% of usable power still remaining, but you can see Alguersuari 85%, Prost, Bernat, they've all got sort of 88s. So there is going to be an advantage for Buemi and the like up at the front, but maybe not quite as dramatic as what we would have expected.
It'll all come out in the wash in those last laps, won't
Yeah,
it? But
exactly.
I think we're getting close to be able to run wide open.
So we've also, I think, got Marco Andretti out of position. Yes, we have. So Marco Andretti is still in the middle there. And he is still a lap down. But there's the race order on the left-hand side in case there's any confusion. And the Qualcomm safety car will be coming in then at the end of this lap. So, and that's all right actually, because Alguersuari is on the back of the train now. There's the guys coming through, and there's Alguersuari coming past as well. Nico Prost coming through. And then we've got Jean-Eric Verne, Daniel Abt, Oriol Servia will be next. Salvador Duran. It's quite a cool shot, that.
It's a great shot, isn't it?
De Grassi being told that the safety car will be in this lap, and then we will have 13 laps of racing remaining. As we get ready.
Now, how early is Buemi going to go here?
That's going to be the question, and because the safety car will start to pull off.
Yeah, here goes the safety car. The BMW's taken off.
And the crowd are getting excited as the safety car gets ready to pull back in. We're only halfway around the circuit at the moment. But a bit of singing from the Porteños that have made their way here.
He can't go too early and run at the back of the pace car and get in trouble for that.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's gone and then sort of had to stop again a little bit. But here they come into turn 7 as they come into the left-hander now. The safety car comes into the pits and we get racing back underway here in Buenos Aires. And no one was particularly close to each other. The one man who's causing a bit of a problem is Marco Andretti and Jerome D'Ambrosio. They're nose to tail in the middle of the pack, and they have caused a big gap back to the chasing cars. Across the line comes Buemi. Don't forget Nick Heidfeld in 3rd place has another fan boost to use, which is another extra 50 kilowatts of power as they get on the brakes into turn 1. It's Buemi, De Grassi, Heidfeld, De Costa and Bird, the top 5 in the queue. We've then got this gap back to where Andretti and D'Ambrosio were just getting out of the way of the chasing cars.
Or not, as the case may be, they're not going to be popular.
D'Ambrosio was anyway, but Marco Andretti was still going out there. But now it's a straight battle for the lead between Lucas De Grassi and Sebastian Buemi. We saw those two fighting like mad in Malaysia, and now they're nose to tail for the lead of the race here in Buenos Aires.
We're going to have to keep an eye on Lucas and Sebastian Buemi every lap through that turn 4-5 area, because if he gets a sniff of that move, he's going to try and pull the same move off. You can see he's trying to set it up. Buemi's just that little bit quicker through 4.
And how often on the radio are you told, this guy's coming up behind you, he's overtaken here, loads of, oh, Buemi, is he going to hit the wall? He's broken his front right, and he is out of the race.
Oh no!
Oh.
Lucas De Grassi leads. You can hear the despair in Sebastian Buemi's voice. Now, did he go wide and break the wheel as a result of the contact on the curbs? We'll have to wait and see. But De Grassi leads the race. It's 2nd place for Nick Heidfeld. It's 3rd now for Antonio Felix da Costa. Meanwhile, the fan boost is being used by Jean-Eric Verne as he tries to get past Nico Prost. Here he comes up the inside. Meanwhile, Marco Andretti's moving out of the way, and Verne has gone through, using the fan boost to get past Prost. Now his teammate Marco Andretti will surely get out of the way as quickly as possible. There he goes.
I think there might have been a little inter-team help there from Marco.
Yeah, potentially. And he now moves out of the way of Nico Prost.
Oh man, what a terrible shame for Buemi.
Yeah.
Did he catch the wall on the way into turn 8?
Yeah, that's impossible.
Did you hear the disappointment in his voice?
Yeah, very sad to hear. Meanwhile, Sam Bird wants a podium finish. He's right up behind Antonio Felix da Costa. The top 4 all in a line, but De Grassi now looks like he's got the pace to start to pull away. Into the chicane they come, across the line, and there's 11 laps remaining. There was walking in front of the camera, disconsolate Sebastian Buemi.
Watch for Sam Bird into turn 1 here.
Absolutely, right behind Antonio Felix da Costa. Here they come across the line, and surely Bird will look to the inside. Da Costa doesn't decide to defend. Big lockup from Lucas De Grassi.
What a move, lovely.
I was surprised Da Costa didn't defend a bit harder there.
He thought about it, didn't he? Then I don't know what he thought after that, but he had a good look.
And here is
19.8.
Oriol Servia. There's a little bit of team radio from Sam Bird, giving a readout of his dashboard. So we've got 11 laps to go. Lucas Di Grassi is flying. He's just at the fastest middle sector of anyone. Our Brazilian race leader for the app team. Big lockup from Nico Prost. Gets it stopped in time. He's running in 7th place. You can see the order there on the left-hand side of the screen. And it's Lucas Di Grassi leading the way. And Sam Bird is now up into 3rd place.
I'd love to see a replay of the Buemi incident to see if he did catch that wall.
And there you can see the time in pits. They all were fine.
He's down to 64% there.
Yeah.
He's used quite a bit more.
Well, he was the first of those guys that made the catch-ups, and there is Nelson Piquet Jr. making his way past Salvador Duran into 10th place.
Duran just pointed him through, it looked like there.
Oh, really?
He just thought, okay, he's coming through that quickly.
Oh, Sam Bird has just been given a drive-through penalty. The man in 3rd place, Sam Bird, drive-through penalty for ignoring pit exit lights. We saw that earlier on. It was a pretty stonewall decision, I think, that one. And maybe that's why he didn't defend. Now here's Buemi.
Oh yeah, caught the inside wall.
Yeah. So he breaks the. If we see it again in, well, you'll see it here.
Slow-mo. Yeah.
He catches the inside wall and then it breaks as he then goes off there.
Yeah, he's broken it when he hit the wall.
Yeah.
Done that before. Yeah.
And that is Sebastian Buemi, his own mistake, and the app team delighted with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was maybe the right reaction,
But meanwhile, Lucas Di Grassi is 1.2 seconds clear of Nick Heidfeld. There you can see the decision for Sam Bird. A real shame, but you know, those are the sort of basic ones, aren't they? You know, you've got all this power, energy usage to deal with. If you get a penalty for that, that's unfortunate. Oh, Di Grassi's off as well. Lucas Di Grassi, race leader out of the race as well. That means Nick Heidfeld moves into 1st place, and that's suspension problems for the Brazilian too. And well, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
The problem as Karun Chandok had. If I'm running a team right now, I'm telling my guys, stay off the curbs, stay away from the curbs. I don't care what corner, stay off the curbs, because otherwise you're going to have to run into this issue.
So Nick Heidfeld now leads the race, and the same men that were delighted a few moments ago are now disconsolate. Nick Heidfeld leads ahead of Sam Bird, who has a drive-through penalty. So that means Antonio Felix da Costa is going to be in 2nd place.
16.4.
And Bird is darting around the back of Nick Heidfeld, and they're saying box this lap to Sam Bird, so he'll be coming into the pits. He's pushing nevertheless, but he is going to have to serve his drive-through penalty, and as we just heard, the team saying box this lap. So that means Nick Heidfeld will be all on his own for the remaining 9 laps of the race, and there is a very frustrated Lucas Di Grassi.
Da Costa P2.
Yeah, so, and P3 Jaime Alguersuari. Sam Bird copies that, and so we'll see him peel off now into the left-hander. And so Nick Heidfeld leads the race with 8 laps to go. Surely they'll have to get a safety car out potentially to move that apt car. And 3rd place then is Alguersuari.
I think they got it behind the wall on turn 10. So we might be okay there.
There's also a drive-through penalty for Ho Pin Tung for not for going under the minimum time at the pit stop. But he has now served his drive-through penalty. So, quick Nick Heidfeld, the man who looked destined to win the opening race of the season, is now in the lead of this race. But we've seen enough leaders not to count our little German chickens just yet.
Absolutely.
Nelson Piquet Jr. side by side there with Oriol Servia. This is the battle over 7th place, and Piquet Jr. has just taken that 7th place away from the Catalan driver. Daniel Abt is a bit further up the road in 6th place.
Just to compound the problem for Sam, it's a long pit lane.
Yeah, that's true.
It's got half as many corners as the racetrack.
Yeah.
And that's really going to sting.
Here's a look at the replay then of Di Grassi. Oh, it's there to the end, right rear.
Just snapped again.
Right rear.
How frustrating would that be?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
and that is the championship leader, of course, who has retired from this race, and he is absolutely furious.
I speak driver, and I know what's going on there.
Yeah, exactly. So Heidfeld is in the lead of the race for Venturi. 2nd place is Antonio Felix da Costa for Amlin. 3rd place is Jaime Alguersuari. 4th is Jean-Eric Verne. Right up behind Alguersuari with 5th Nico Prost. That's going to be quite a good battle to watch in the remaining 7 laps. Nelson Piquet Jr. has just set the fastest lap of the race and has closed into 2.5 seconds behind Daniel Abt in front of him. Let's talk about this issue, Dario. How much of it, if there's a part of a car that's susceptible, how much is it your responsibility not to break it?
it's a racing car. It's supposed to be designed to jump over curbs. That's what you do. You're not doing anything that's out with the normal sort of limits of a racing car. And it's clearly, you know, the extra weight that the Formula E car carries, it's causing some issues. So it's a part that has to be clearly, you know, beefed up a little bit, which unfortunately will probably add a little bit of weight, but we're talking a little bit. It's got to be able to finish the race. It's not like they're bouncing the thing off a wall, they're going over curbs as you normally would.
Yeah.
I mean, Buemi's thing is very different. He hit the wall, and that's what happens when you hit the wall.
Yeah, that's true actually. That is a difference, isn't it? No, that apt car is still there on the exit of turn 10. It's just getting towed out of the way now, I think. We're on board with Jean-Eric Vergne in 4th place, chasing down Jaime Alguersuari. He's got 41% of his available energy remaining as he comes into the hairpin at turn 1.
Small lock up there from Alguersuari.
We're on lap 30 of 35. And Sam Bird has now set the fastest lap of the race.
I'll bet he has. There'll be steam coming out of his ears.
We're on board still with Vergne, coming down towards turn 4. Not quite close enough to get past Alguersuari yet, but let's see how much sort of lift and coast he's doing.
Not much at the moment. A little bit into there, but just a little bit.
And the yellow flag still out for that incident at turn 10. And this is Bruno Senna all over the back of Salvador Duran. Duran's, I mean, in 9th place now, so it's looking like a good day so far for the Amlin Aguri team.
Yeah, he's not, you know, he's struggling a little bit pace-wise, but he's got himself up there. He just pointed him through again. He just pointed Senna through there, but...
Okay. So he's got Senna right up behind him, and there you can see the recovery taking place down at turn 10. Amlin have only had 1 points finish so far this season, which was an 8th place for Da Costa in Putrajaya, but now it looks as though they're going to be picking up a podium finish with Antonio Felix Da Costa running currently in 2nd place.
There's still 4 laps to go there, Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, somebody's locked up and gone off in 1.
Yep, and there's still actually 3 seconds from these guys to Da Costa, and they're lapping about a second a lap quicker.
Vergne is as close as I've seen him. This might be a move into 4. If not, he might set it up for 5.
Whoa, very, very wide from Alguersuari. He might have hit the wall there on the exit. He's got Jean-Eric Vergne right up behind him, but he really seemed to run the track more than I've seen anyone else do.
All that dirt dust showed you that.
Oh, look at the inside from Vergne. Almost hits the back of Alguersuari, just gets it stopped in time. And the battle of the ex-Toro Rosso drivers continue.
He tried the Degrassi move, but didn't quite pull it off there, did he?
And he needs to be careful because he's got Nico Prost right up behind him as well. Vergne set the fastest first sector of anyone on that last lap.
I don't see any damage on the side of Alguersuari's car, so not sure that maybe he just got away with it. I bet his eyes were closed though.
Into the chicane they come. Lovely bit of opposite lock from Nelson Piquet Jr., who's now on the back of this queue as we go on board again with Vergne through the green flag zone after the recovery of Lucas Di Grassi's car.
Just not close enough.
And Vergne has got a fan boost, and I don't think he's used his second fan boost. We think he might have used... Oh yeah, he did actually. He attacked.
Has he damaged the nose? I think he's damaged the nose of the car.
Yeah. It looks like there's a little bit of a dent in there, doesn't it? We'll try and keep an eye out for that.
That might have been the gearbox of the car in front.
Yeah.
He's really close again here.
Yeah, there's definitely damage to the nose kind of that Andretti, but he is right up with Alguersuari. The Spaniard knows it, defends, coming down, whoa! And, well, Vergne's not happy with that. He's not happy. I think he thought Alguersuari was defending. He thought Alguersuari was defending and then moved across in front of him, I think, was the complaint from Vergne.
We saw that with Trulli, didn't we? And I think it was Piquet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not really on, but that was, yeah, that wasn't too blatant, I would say. But I'm not driving the car behind. It always looks different when you're in the gearbox of the car.
And he's going for it again. There's contact. Alguersuari nudged wide. That was a classic touring car move.
He's always closing at the last minute.
To be honest,
and that's Vergne saying he closed the door at the last minute.
He did there. Yeah, I would say he's 100% right.
And a drive-through penalty for Nick Heidfeld, speeding in the pit lane. Nick Heidfeld, the race leader, has been given a drive-through penalty now for speeding in the pit lane. And that is fundamentally going over the 50 kilometers an hour, not the too short pit lane time. And here's the attack from Alguersuari, side by side with Nico Prost up the inside. Actually, going for 4th place, so somewhere Prost would have followed through when he got set wide, and now Alguersuari's got back past him.
That was
Goodness me.
That was an attack, wasn't it? That was a dive bomb. Great move.
And Daniel Abt is now on the back of Nico Prost as they come down towards turn 7. Prost goes defensive, but Abt isn't quite close enough. So all that means that when Nick Heidfeld serves his drive-through penalty, Da Costa will lead for Amlin Aguri, Verne will be second, Al-Ghashwari will be third at the moment. I just keep having to double-check everything I say because it's non-stop.
We didn't see that one coming, did we?
Goodness me.
That is, yeah, that's action-packed for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 2 laps to go now. Heidfeld's on his penultimate lap. So, when's he going to serve his drive-through penalty? He hasn't done it just yet. The cars fly over the curbs.
Piquet
Jr. is on it.
coming in a hurry, isn't he? Into 1 here. Let's see them. If he carries that momentum through 10, 11, 12, get on his gearbox for 1. Let's see. Here he comes. Senna. Is he close enough? Yeah, oh yeah, he's close enough. Ab's going to defend like crazy though.
Yeah, Nelson Piquet Jr. jinks back to the outside on the run down to turn 1. This will be a brave move from Piquet Jr. He fancies all the way around the outside, not quite.
Not sure that's the move I would have done there. I'd have stuck it down, you know, the inside of it a bit more, but I'm sitting here talking about it and he's driving, so.
Nelson Piquet Jr. is just on the fastest first sector of anyone in the race so far. Still the fastest lap, I think, has gone to Sam Bird as the cars come into turn 4. Nick Heidfeld, meanwhile, will he be coming into the pits on this lap? Oh, and has Verne got an issue? Verne's gone very, very wide, and that allows Nico Prost to get alongside Al-Ghashwari, coming down into 6th. Nothing changing.
Piquet's got an issue too.
Piquet has slowed down, hasn't he?
Yeah, off the back there.
So maybe they're all suddenly running low on usable energy remaining. Big lock-up from Abt, and he hits Al-Ghashwari, and that allows Prost through. What a shame for Al-Ghashwari, the second time he's been assaulted at turn 7. Meanwhile, Nick Heidfeld is in the pits to serve his drive-through penalty, which means going on to the last lap of the race. Antonio Felix da Costa leads for Amlin Aguri.
What is going on?
Oh, and Alf, that is Daniel Abt.
He broke the suspension, didn't he, on that move?
And the battle's still going on then. This is Verne, who is defending from Nico Prost in the battle over second place. Prost goes through, but Verne's going to hold it on the inside.
No,
he's never going to get that stopped. And Prost holds the second place. Al-Ghashwari is going to come through and move up into 3rd place. That means that Verne drops back to 4th. Nelson Piquet Jr. is in 5th.
Verne too low on power? He's 9% of usable left. Is there another issue?
It's difficult to see, isn't it, as he comes through the left-hander of turn 3.
Look at Al-Ghashwari's car crabbing. There's massive damage.
Antonio Felix da Costa, here he is, coming through turn number 6. The Portuguese racer is going to take victory, surely. He's only got 3 more corners to go. There's the Amlin Aguri squad as they come into turn 7 for the final time. He's slowing down, but I think he's just taking it easy as he comes towards the final corner now.
Well,
it's victory for Antonio Felix da Costa. The checker flag falls, and it's a win for Amlin Aguri. 2nd place for Nico Prost. It's 3rd place across the line for Nelson Piquet Jr.
Yeah!
And there's Al-Ghashwari.
boys.
What happened to Al-Ghashwari? Look at the...
Work hard, play. Well done, boys. Well done.
Al-Ghashwari's car was damaged on that last lap there, on the left rear, it looked like.
So the checker flag falls. Antonio Felix da Costa takes victory. Prost 2nd, 3rd for Piquet Jr. Al-Ghashwari 4th, Bruno Senna 5th, Daniel Abt. Can't believe what's happened.
That was the top 3 I was going to call, Jack.
So,
was that?
Amlin Aguri, I don't know how they've done this. They were absolutely nowhere. They had a revelation testing in Punta del Este, and now they've won a race. Okay, a lot of people retired. It was a bit of a race of attrition, but Da Costa was there. He had pace, and he's taken victory.
Very good.
On s'est bien sorti. Merci les gars. Super. Bravo. Vraiment génial.
Very happy, Nico Prost.
La deuxième voiture, elle consomme rien par rapport à la première. C'est incroyable la différence.
Incredible difference from the first practice session to now is, I think, what Nico Prost said. But there's a Swiss who will be speaking very different words of French.
Yeah, 2 very upset guys there with him and Lucas.
I didn't know what was going on because I had cars around me. I didn't know if I had to push and try to pass them. I know they were different laps, but it doesn't make no sense that I'm 3rd. But anyway, I was a bit blind in the race without knowing what was going on.
You were blind, Nelson. Try being in here. That's Piquet Jr. saying no idea what really happened in that race, but they're delighted nevertheless in the Team China garage with their 2nd podium in succession.
I think that was a subtle dig there, the engineers from Nelson just saying, God, I need more information.
So here was Daniel Abt. He attacked Nico Prost, but was too busy worrying about Prost essentially and making the move on him.
Oh, he wasn't even close, was he?
No.
And that damaged Alguersuari's car, which then caused the issue for Alguersuari on the last lap.
There we go. So
Yeah, that's where the left rear damage came. Just crabbing pretty badly.
And this is Jean-Eric Verne losing out to Bruno Senna. So Senna got past Verne on the final lap. Oh, and then they had a bit of argy-bargy, and Senna just about held on to fifth place. So I wonder what happened to Jean-Eric Verne at the end there. But
touch of bumper cars there, wasn't it, from Jev?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the fans will be leaving the circuit entertained, if not exhausted from that. I'm a little bit exhausted. I hope we were able to keep you up to date with everything that was going on. It was quite a challenge, but it's great to see so many people here as well who've come to watch the action.
Yeah, and they got action, didn't they? That was an absolute barn burner of a race. It was going on everywhere.
A what?
Barn burner, is that an Americanism
I've
too?
never heard that. Barnstormer, we say. But anyway, Antonio Felix da Costa pulls back into the pits.
Who's we? Brilliant job from the Amlin guys. Anthony Felix da Costa, fantastic.